It's a perfect day in sunny Sydney for a top-of-the-ladder clash in the Liberty A-League. Sydney FC against Western United. Even though there is a bit of a points gap between them, Sydney FC's games in hand mean that these two are effectively dead level at the moment. The fan club for Mackenzie Hawkesby there, led by a literal hawk. They are ready to cheer for the Sky Blues this afternoon as they try to turn around one of the more significant defeats that Sydney FC suffered this season away to Western United at the time the two teams have met this season already. 2-0 it was to Western on that occasion. Today, they meet at Kogarah, a venue where Sydney FC have had both grand final victories and defeats. Two changes to the starting 11 for Sydney. In come Rachel Lowe and Deborah Ann Delaharp. Indiana Dos Santos is in line to make her debut. Rolla Badawia moves to the bench. Mary Stanich-Floody and Shay Holman are away on international duty. And Western United make one change to the starting 11. Danielle Steer comes in. Franny Iamano and injury replacement signing Tiana Jaber are added to the bench. Alex Sinclair is out and Carly Johnson is also in Bishkek with the young Matildas. Ante Juric is the Sydney FC coach. He's really had to reach deep into the bench. He's got 15-year-old Indiana Dos Santos on there, plus his two mid-season signings, Tegan Collister and Rolla Badawia. So the combination of injury and also international call-ups has definitely depleted Sydney's depth. Rachel Lowe, one of the inclusions to the starting 11 today, is going to make the Mackenzie Hawkesby fan club very happy by kicking this off to the Hawk. And this top-of-the-league clash is ready to get underway at Kogarah. Pitch looks in immaculate condition as well. Sydney FC in the sky blue, Western United in their change kit of the white. And the referee is just holding up kickoff for a moment here, setting the watch and getting us underway as first place second in the Liberty A-League. And Grace, if you're Melbourne City watching on from third place today, I'm fairly certain you would be hoping that these two teams do draw for the first time this season.
Well, a draw for Melbourne City in this result today would be quite a comfortable position.
Delaharp back into the team today to Alana Cern, who touches the ball down to Sarah Hunter. Caught in possession by the backtracking TJ Vlanich. And now Adriana Taranto, shoulder to shoulder against Hawkesby. Jacqueline Savicki caught in possession by Courtney Vine. It's Willing in the opening minute. Nat Tobin had some interesting comments on Dubzone yesterday, which we'll get to at the next break and play, previewing this match. Here's Savicki from deep, over the head of Hannah Keane, down to Delaharp. Mark Torcaso is back on the bench. Sitting to his right is Helen Winterburn, his assistant, who took charge of the 6-0 win against Newcastle Jets last weekend. Torcaso missed the game with a torn calf, but he's well enough to travel now, and it's not affecting him quite as much as last weekend. And right here, Hannah Keane is threading it through to Danielle Steer. Steer on a tight angle, and Jada Wyman had the angles covered. Able to make the first save of the game. Throws the ball out quickly. Both teams want to keep the tempo high, but what as we were discussing it, Grace, you spoke it into existence, the long ball and then the diagonal there from Hannah Keane.
But with a surface like this will suit Sydney much better, just in terms of keeping the ball on the deck, finding those connecting passes, and looking to play around Western United, whereas we know Western do look on the counter, find the ball over the top and play a not necessarily possession-based game so much. That will suit Sydney this afternoon.
Alana Cern at the centre of defence. Right up the middle, picks out Nat Tobin, centre back to centre back. Rule, Hunter. Crowd making plenty of noise, and no reason for there not to be a good crowd in today. Grace, potential title decider this one as we have another look at the chance here.
Well, that ball just snuck past Fenton, and Steele did well to get on the end of it. First good touches for Wyman.
Real physicality from Keane, able to shrug. Charlotte McLean now takes on Delaharp, switching through the box, and it was a tap-in chance for Western. And Danielle Steer smacks the turf in frustration because she knows that should have been 1-0 to the visiting team.
Oh, you can see immediately the frustration from Danielle Steer. This is great physicality from Hannah Keane. She's done this all season, uses her body so well, and this ball is teasing across the 6-yard box. Danielle Steer has to find the back of the net there.
What a chance for Western in just the 4th minute of the game. Danji Beard directing traffic as she receives the pass and plays it for TJ Vlanich. And Vlanich receives the ball. elevating across in. It's over the head of Jana Wyman, and Fenton is there to get the ball to the edge of the box, and then Hawkesby continues the defending. Sato, Keane brings it to ground. Taranto was there, and the knockback didn't arrive before Tobin did. And now Sydney FC in a really stretched game. They can flip the field here. It's 3-on-2. A question of execution. Courtney Vine to the edge of the box. And now Hawkesby in space. Saved by Beale onto the crossbar. Thrilling end-to-end football.
Well, that is some counter-attack there from Sydney FC. When you've got the likes of Mackenzie Hawkesby, Courtney Vine, Rachel Lowe bearing down on you. They had the 3v2, a really unselfish play from Courtney Vine, and I think it was the right pass as well. Hawkesby had the angle, she had the space, and it's forced to save out of Hilary Beale yet again.
And so not a surprise that the game is hugging the left side of the pitch at the moment. The two benches won't mind. It means that everyone's within earshot of the latest instruction they might want to shout. Beard's throw. Keane chases down the first touch in the corner. Vlanic there in support. Now Angie Beard. Holding off Hawkesby. Still Beard. Whipping it through the 6-yard box, and Danielle Steer. That left to right cross has been the main attacking weapon for Western today, but Steer still hasn't been able to get in the right place at the right time.
Well, it's a big opportunity for Steer this afternoon. This is a great little step from Angie Beard. Two Sydney FC defenders. It was Carly Johnson last week who got scoring underway for Western United. Danielle Steer rewarded with a good performance, but also with the young Matilda away at the moment in Carly Johnson. But there are a couple of opportunities that have come Danielle Steer's way early in this game.
Sliding it to the near post. Hawkesby cutting it across. Well, again, Hawkesby's first thought was of a teammate rather than the target.
Look, I'm sure that's going to be the instruction from Ante Juric at halftime. That's got to be a first-time strike. It's a beautiful ball from Abini and a great run from Hawkesby too, but she's opted to cut back in. Just let that run across your body, hit that first time. That's such a tough one for Hilary Beale to try and deal with.
Mark Torcaso and Helen Winterburn still looking largely unmoved at the moment. Vine to Tobin. Tobin lifts a high ball. Vine following up. Here's the shot from Vine. It's wide. Hilary Beale still dived after it just in case, but then pulled the arms out of the way late.
Sydney FC, though, when afforded the time and space on the ball, those chances invariably are created. And Courtney Vine, well, we've seen what she can do, the strikes she can score from that kind of distance, and that's reminiscent of a beautiful one for the Matildas she had during the Cup of Nations.
Switching over to Fenton. And Princess Abini has switched back to the left flank. Dispossessed and fouled in doing so. So Sydney now have a dangerous free kick which will be travelling downwind.
We just saw another opportunity, the one that opened up for Sarah Hunter, as we have another little clip of the heels there. But Sarah Hunter, I thought, could have unleashed on that shot as well and opted for the cross to find a teammate into the box.
So Mackenzie Hawkesby surveys a two-opponent wall. Line of defenders at the top of the box. And so many sky blue shirts ready to advance into the penalty area. Hawkesby was hoping for Tobin, but too much on it. And that would have been a very difficult free kick to get on the end of. Just a little bit too high and a little bit too firmly struck.
And perhaps just the wind, as you can see, carries the ball just past the target in that Tobin.
Here's Charlie's rule. Slides it to Rachel Lowe. The cut across to the near post. Hits the side netting.
Well, it was an acute angle. The idea definitely right from Rachel Lowe on this occasion. And again, a really clever run across the defensive line. And that's something that Rachel Lowe does so well.
And a long ball up to Wyman here. 30 seconds of regulation to go in what has been a fascinating first half between the top two teams. The throw out. Hunter crashed in. Advantage given. Oh, there's no advantage there. And the Western bench are going to blow up here if Sydney go down the other end and score. Fenton sliding it to Courtney Vine. They might just score, you know. Vine through the right, a quick head check, and then stops and props and cuts it back. And it's turned away by Sardo. The follow-up from Fenton is over the bar. And there's a yellow card there as well. Incredibly, Sydney could have scored from a passage of play where their own player received a yellow card and there was an advantage in the build-up.
Well, how many times have we seen this kind of play open up the numbers? Look at the Sky Blue numbers forward. Courtney Vine, it's an excellent run. First touch, a little narrow, but she looks up and finds Rachel Lowe, who just slightly hooks her shot. But again, this is one of those chances at Sydney FC just to failing to put away.
It's a great you be the ref scenario, isn't it, Grace? Because Western thought there was no advantage, and it was a yellow card tackle that wiped out one of their players and left them 10 versus 11 on the counter-attack.
We saw the speed and the numbers which Sydney FC got forward so well. And again, it's just that final product going with the wind this half. And certainly the second half will change the dynamic of how both these teams are playing.
Savicki. Now Sardo. Ball through the right channel. Mel Taranto is there. Keane waits in the middle. Taranto against Della Harp. Being stood up by the Sydney defender. And then tried to win a corner and succeeded in doing so. So a late set piece for Western United.
That's clever there from Mel Taranto too. Set pieces, corners in particular, a real strength for this Western United side.
Here's the yellow card challenge. Fair call?
Yeah, look, I think it was just the trailing foot there from Sarah Hunter.
Last act of the first half. Vlanich's corner. In at the near post to steer. Cleared off the post by Hawkesby. Oh, and the pass is just going to force Vlanich to backtrack. Clever, able to step around Tobin. On the right foot now, TJ Vlanich. Will they have the time to take the corner? They won't. Half-time whistle goes, and what a half it was. It had everything except a goal. And in what could be a grand final preview, if that's the standard, it has certainly whet the appetite for what's to come. At half-time, it's Sydney FC 0, Western United 0. If you're only just joining us, it's favouring the bottom right corner of your screen. And the second half gets underway. And Grace Gill, that search for a first goal begins. Is it the sort of game that will be decided by the odd goal, or is it the sort of game that could spring to life as soon as one hits the back of the net and sort of breaks the game open? That's the question.
Well, it hasn't been a game without chances. Certainly in that first half, we saw it at both ends.
Offside flag is up here.
Sydney FC created a host of chances, as did Western United really early on in that first half. But now what we have into this second 45 minutes, Western United with the wind, with the breeze.
See here, Rachel Lowe had just strayed offside with that run. First of the game. Didn't have a single one in the opening half. Cummings. No apprehension to go for distance. Taranto to the shouts of the sideline to go and chase Della Harp, and then Della Harp squeezes it to Fenton. Pass into the middle. Tobin with a task, but is able to hold off the opponent. Back to McLean. Brought out of the air by Cummings. Now Adriana Taranto, a blind spin and pass, picks out Rule. Hawkesby has Courtney Vine over on the right, and Vine hits it underneath. Flag stays down this time for Rachel Lowe! Sydney strike in the battle for the premiership, and it's Rachel Lowe that puts the Sky Blues into a 1-0 lead.
But what a cool, calm, composed finish that was from Rachel Lowe. A wonderful early ball through from Courtney Vine. Rachel Lowe, she's had a little look up, assessed her options, and that is a really neat finish.
Well, last season when she got her spot in the team back, she went on a little scoring streak. Maybe the same thing is happening here for Rachel Lowe, second of the season and her 9th in the Liberty A-League. So Tobin, Hunter and Della Harp all on yellow cards for Sydney. Sardo has a booking for Western United. And goes to ground here as Abini is able to shimmy away and break to the box. Princess Abini. Mel Taranto comes across and concedes a corner.
I don't think she was too happy with the resulting corner there, but it was great defensive work by Mel Taranto. Abini has looked much better in this second half. Again, a little shimmy, change of weight of her body. And Mel Taranto thought she'd done enough to see that one out for a goal kick.
But still goes for the traditional drifter and lands it on the roof of the net. An anti-climax given how excited the crowd were getting.
Yeah, it's not often we see that from Mackenzie Hawkesby. Normally delivery is on point.
Double change coming up for Western United. Danielle Steer is coming off for Emma Robers. And it's going to be Julia Sato coming off to give Tiana Jaber a Western United debut. So Steer leaves the game, no doubt frustrated at not having scored. Robers comes on. Was key to the comeback win against Adelaide United earlier in the season. And then Sato, who does have a yellow card, leaves the game. And Tiana Jaber previously played for Western Sydney Wanderers and also Newcastle most recently. As Sydney FC through the right side, and Vine. Lowe again! A double for Rachel Lowe! Through the gap, Courtney Vine lays off the assist. And this purple patch of form for Rachel Lowe is sending the Sky Blues top of the league.
That was really neat there by Sydney FC. And well picked up once more from Courtney Vine. And it's this partnership, Courtney Vine, Rachel Lowe. Vine does so well to cut that back and find Lowe. It just checks her shoulder in the middle of the box, and oh, that's a neat build-up from Sydney FC. Well taken finish, well taken goal.
Steer and Sato, the two players that went off. Sydney are down to 10, but it doesn't look like that's going to halt their progress. Vine's back. Hawkesby, Hunter. And Beale didn't get fingertips on it. It kept rising. Just a goal kick.
Sydney looking dangerous, building really nicely. Nat Tobin, she's at the base of everything at the moment. And Courtney Vine, after that clattering, has come back to life. And if anyone can hit them from that kind of range, we know Sarah Hunter can do so.
Jaber. The pass to Robers. Return ball, Jaber being followed by Abini, and it's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's a tough one for Western United, having to dig deep into their stocks. And of course, over weeks gone by, we speak about Jess McDonald, Chloe Lagazzo having departed the club, and today Kylie Johnson, who just came into really good goal scoring form. Of course, Hannah Keane has been integral for this United side, but this afternoon, Western just trying to find where these goals are going to come from.
Right now, Sydney FC controlling the game. Mackenzie Hawkesby has been excellent again today in that central midfield role. Able to get through the challenge of Robers here and play it out into space. Abini looms large, lifts across in. Lowe for a hat-trick. She's missed the volley. Well, that could have been 3 for Rachel Lowe and 3 points for Sydney FC. And throws the head back in frustration at missing out.
Well, this was, again, another really delightful build-up from Sydney, and it's really opening up for them now. The first-time ball from Abini held up with that wind, and Rachel Lowe, perhaps her eyes lit up. Couldn't quite get the contact she needed behind that one.
Rovers. And Savicki. Cern. Slides it to Mel Taranto. Clever pass. Adriana Taranto now. Out to the right. And there's too much on that pass for Keane to run down.
That's a bit better from Western United. A good ball up the middle from Alana Cern, and just that final pass from Taranto with the wind behind them. It has to be so well measured and weighted. Hannah Keane was looking for it, but just had a little too much on that pass through the defensive line.
Wyman's goal kick holds up on the win, but Sydney FC have got the numbers. Rule. Hunter. Played central into a 50-50. Mel Taranto won the ball. Adriana Taranto to Savicki. Trying to step around Delaharp, who's done well. Delaharp won the ball away. And now Hawkesby's into space, but wants to play the pass. Abini. Lowe is lurking. Abini might go solo here. Princess Abini bearing down on goal. And is not able to get it past Hilary Beale, and you've got to credit Cern because the shot was going off target.
Well, she's had to work hard for that one, Alana Cern, but Princess Abini, she's really come to life in this second half. Just a little stutter step. She's managed to stream away, but Alana Cern has done well in that last-ditch challenge.
Western United looking a bit out of answers at present. Tobin, a long diagonal. Abini's been threatening all half. Abini! It was inevitable! It's 3 for Sydney FC. Princess Abini starts the celebrations. And it will be a sky blue day in this meeting of the top two on the table.
Well, Princess Abini has well and truly come to life in this second 45 minutes. And again, it's Nat Tobin at the base of this play. A delightful ball over the top. And Abini on her left foot. Hilary Beale has been excellent today, but that is a really well-taken finish from Abini.
And after Western United spoiled the party for Princess Abini's 100th A-League women's game, she'll remember game number 105 far more fondly, scoring a goal here. And due to the injuries in this game, we're going to have 8 additional minutes, so still plenty of time to go.
Yeah, look, I find it really hard to look past the performance of Rachel Lowe this afternoon, even in the first half when she hadn't put those goals away. She was still looking to create.
Free kick given here. More confusion. Got to say, and you know, I'm fairly accommodating of referees. They're all human, but some of the... It's a second yellow card, and Nat Tobin's going to be sent off here. It was booked earlier in the game. Well, well, well. Nat Tobin sees red, and that is a sour ending for Sydney FC because it's the second time this season that the Sydney FC captain has been sent off.
Oh, Nat Tobin, absolutely baffled by the call. I'm just trying to figure out exactly what's happened with that second yellow card to lead to Nat Tobin, the captain's sending off here.
I was going to say, it was another long passage of play after an advantage had been given, and there was confusion about that at times in the first half too. And now it's confusion here for Nat Tobin. I think she's at a total loss as to why she's been sent off here. And we'll have to work it out for ourselves. All right, let's have a look. Tobin trailing hand against Taranto. Is that a yellow card offence, Grace Gill?
I look, that, in my mind, that is a really tough one for Nat Tobin. She took a touch away from the player, and I'm still a little baffled by that one.
Second red card of the season as well, so it'll come with a longer suspension than your regular 2 yellows does. Jaber hoping for Keane. The header away by Della Harp. Now Robers used a hand. Free kick Sydney.
This will all come down to game management here for Sydney, just to see out the clock.
And that clock has expired. It's Sydney FC who move back into favouritism for top spot. They control their destiny now. And they've made a statement today. 3-0 the final score. As it ends at Kogarah, a double from Lowe, a goal from Princess Abini, and it's Sydney FC 3, Western United 0.